guys, I'm starting early because I felt like it. I've never been one to play by the rules, so why start now, right? I mean, what the hell's the difference? So today we already decided we're going to talk about your shit. Rather than me choosing a topic, this is going to be, what do you need most? What are your questions? And along that line, I posted in Entrepreneur Incubator earlier to get your most burning questions. Joyce is here. Sharik is here. Hello, hello. Say hello if you're there. Give me some emojis. Let me know what's going on. I just decided to start early because, I mean, what the hell? I was sitting here doing nothing. I don't need the arbitrary time on a clock to let me know I'm good to go, right? Erin's here. Hello, Natalie. How the hell are you guys? What's going on? Adriana's here. I love it. It's Mindset Monday. Are you stoked? I didn't get to see you guys last week because I took a little trip to Migraine City and ended up in bed for the night. I hate it when that happens. I call it my up level. The up level before the up level. Hey, Valerie's catching me live. Love it. Hey, Catherine, how are you? Rochelle's here. Oh, awesome. Awesome, awesome. I'm going to give guys just a couple more minutes because I did hop on earlier. Some of the themes of the questions you guys posted in the Entrepreneur Incubator were fear. That was a big one. Avoid crashing after a big success, which I would say also comes down to fear. Look, even my husband posted a question on the thread. He lives here. He can ask me this stuff anytime. Hey, Rashida, how are you? Let's see. Upper limits were a question. More fear. This one around success. Being too much. How to deal with post-vacation blues. More fear questions. Expectations. Mindset practices. Vanessa Rende actually posted a great question that I am going to address about the thin line between not stressing and acting as if and hustling for what you want. And that's one of my favorite topics, so we will be talking about that one for sure. And then Rochelle had another one about fear, which was fear of judgment from people you admire and follow, like going against the grain and being worried about teaching against what most people are teaching. So we're going to hit all of that, plus whatever else you guys tend to come up with. Hey, Carrie, how are you? But yeah, let's just dive in here with Khulud, which was fear. Yeah, a lot of these are really, really good topics. So I feel like I'm always talking about fear, and I think that that's largely because most people know me as the person that dealt with or deals with panic disorder and PTSD, although I don't have any of that anymore, or I don't seem to have those symptoms anymore. So I seem to be the go-to person to speak publicly about fear, and that's cool. But I also sometimes feel like I'm repeating myself. So if you've heard this before, I don't know what to tell you. They're still asking me questions about it, so I'm going to talk about it. Valerie says, different views with husband about daughter's education. Oh, yeah. That's a bitch, isn't it? Okay, so fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of criticism, fear of haters, fear of disappointing people, fear of going against the grain, fear of looking stupid. I have this theory that most fear, if not all fear, comes down to looking stupid. Kiara's here. Hello, hello. Fear is self-created. It doesn't exist without your permission. That's the beautiful thing about fear. So, the shortest answer possible I can give you is stop scaring yourself. But first you have to recognize how you are scaring yourself. So what does that look like? Generally speaking, when you're afraid of something, failure, judgment, whatever it is that you're afraid of, it's because you're imagining something bad happening. Meaning, you're afraid somebody will judge you. You're afraid that you'll fail and you'll look stupid. You're afraid that you'll disappoint somebody. You're afraid of X outcome. And as long as you continue to think those thoughts, you'll be scared. And many times, for those of us who have panic, those feelings, those thoughts are habitual. And they become deeply ingrained. And the more that you think those thoughts, the deeper the groove of the neural pathway is. And they become your go-to. Now, I'm not a scientist or a shrink. I definitely don't have a doctoral degree, and I'm not a therapist. So, hey, Bethany, bear all that in mind. But in my personal experience, when you change your thoughts, you change the way that you feel. So if you stop scaring yourself and having those thoughts that frighten you, you will no longer be afraid. I know one thing for sure. You can't control what other people think, what they say, or what they do. But you can control what you think, what you say, and what you do. So anytime that you're experiencing a feeling, you need to ask yourself what thoughts you're having that brought that up, and how you might think different thoughts in order to have a different feeling. Hey Fiona, hey Faria, Monique's here, Julie's here. Hello everybody, I'm glad you made it. But it is very much self-created, guys. So if you're scared, stop scaring yourself. Take a moment and evaluate the thoughts that you're having. Rochelle, it's making you tear up? Oh, honey, that means we hit on something there that's big. Specifically, I'm going to go to your comment. You had fear of judgment from people you admire and follow, going against the grain and being worried about teaching against what most people are teaching. Now, I would say, if you have beliefs about business, or you're on a mission or a different way of teaching that you're passionate about, that you believe in, then it's actually your responsibility to show up differently. And not only will that make you a more powerful leader, it will allow you to stand out and shine when everybody else might be blending in. See, I don't see that as a problem. I see that as an asset. There's a big difference there. Emma's here, Khaloud's here, Shanshira's here. Hello, 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 Joyce. So, Rochelle, rather than seeing that as a potential conflict or a way that, a potential negative, I guess, for lack of a better word, I would see that as a positive. That's actually a strength for you. Betsy's here, hi. Because it's going to allow you to leverage yourself in a way that other people aren't, right? Now the caveat is, hello, the caveat for that is when you are about to show up and teach things differently or go against the grain, check yourself and make sure that you believe in it firmly and that you're passionate about it. And if that is the case, then absolutely stand by your convictions, and that's the end of it. Carrie Gavin says, agreed, standing out in what you believe in is powerful, it's not negative. Yeah, and that's a fact. So, I mean, I think at the most basic primal level, human beings are programmed to try to fit in. We're social creatures and we want to make friends, and I get that. But when you choose to be an entrepreneur and run a business, you also choose to be a leader. And in order to lead effectively, you can't be a sheep. Make sense? Vanessa's here. Hello, darling. Okay, so whether you're talking about fear of what the people you follow or industry leaders might think, or it's a fear of failure, or it's a fear of somebody else who's judging you, it all stems from the same place, which means it's self-created. So, the same way that you can say to yourself, what if they don't like what I have to say? What if they don't allow me in their groups anymore? What if they unfriend me? What if they ostracize me? What if? You can what if in the other way. Meaning, even if they don't agree with me, what if they're damn proud of me for being a leader? What if I inspire other women to take a stand for what they believe in? What if people can disagree with me but still respect me for having the courage of my convictions? Do you see the difference? You don't have to what if negative all the time. You can what if positive. Kelly says, I tell my clients it's not confrontation, it's communication, and to speak up. Yeah, I like that. Perfect, thank you. You're welcome, Rochelle. Hopefully that helps you quite a bit. Okay, moving right along. Stop scaring yourself, that's the theme. You're in charge of your thoughts. This one was, how do you avoid crashing after a big success? I've just had the best month financially of my business and now I'm completely panicked That's interesting. That's really interesting. You had the best month ever in your business and you panicked. So I'm assuming that means that you made the most money you've ever made in a month. And rather than go into gratitude and celebration, your immediate response is contraction and worry and panic. Do you know why that might be happening before I answer you? I know she's here, so I'm just waiting to see. Does anybody know why somebody would have a high where they hit a huge financial goal and immediately go into worry? You're worried it'll never happen again? Okay, understandable. However, when your gut response is to go into panic, there's a reason. Do you know what that reason is? We're going to talk about paradigms. PSA, don't smoke. Khulud says up level. Rochelle says deep down you worry you don't deserve it. Aaron says not able to repeat it. All possibilities. Faria says upper limit problem. Christine, self-doubt. All possibilities. Hey, Michelle's here. Okay, I'll walk you guys through this. If somebody has moved through life at a lower income level, meaning they're comfortable struggling, they're comfortable working hard, and suddenly they get a windfall. It's uncomfortable. It's different. Two things happen. Carrie says conditioning. Yep, conditioning is part of it. It's part of the overall paradigm. Two things happen. The first thing is, if you don't have a daily mindset practice that involves gratitude or mantras or affirmations or examining negative limiting beliefs or all of the above, you will run into this because it's just the way that the brain works. But two things happen. So the first is you have a choice. You can do what you're doing, which is freak the fuck out and worry. And by the way, worrying is wishing for the thing that you don't want to happen, just as a side note. Or you can move into gratitude and beginning to navigate the limiting beliefs. However, in both instances, you've got to have a system in place, because if you don't have skills to rely on to move you through this, you're kind of fucked. You feel like it happened despite you, not because of you. Undervaluing yourself and your worth massively, clearly. Yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me either. So if you grew up in an environment where struggling was comfortable, where not having was comfortable, and suddenly you have, it's going to freak you out. It would freak anybody out. If you then don't have the system to move through the up level and work on your mindset, your paradigm will be to sabotage that and shrink yourself down to a place that is comfortable, which in this case would be less money, which you don't really want, but since you're comfortable with struggle and not having, that's what your comfort zone is, that's what your subconscious is going to try to bring you back down to. And this will happen over and over and over and over and over until you do the inner stuff. So you went on to say, I know it's not logical, I'm journaling like hell, I also repeatedly come back to setting intentions and letting go. I'm getting shit done regardless. That doesn't surprise me. Taking action despite the fear, also duh, why would it not happen again? But I'm struggling with the confidence level. Okay, so the things that you're saying are really revealing, because number one, you feel like it happened in spite of you, not because of you, which is, whoa, dude. That's like serious self-sabotage, self-doubt. So the thing I think I would ask myself first is, if I didn't do it, how did it happen? I operate from the place of, I'm in a world that I am happening to. The world isn't happening to me. We are here to make our impact, right? It's not that everything around you in existence is outside of your control. It's that as you move through the world, you make choices that bring you to the places you're at. So no, it's not happening to you. That's a myth. It wouldn't have happened in spite of you if you were aligned. At some deep, dark place, your subconscious knows that you deserve this, or it wouldn't have happened. Can you keep it? Can you repeat it? I would argue that making money is a skill, and that once you learn how to do it, nobody can take it away from you. I've said that for a really long time. However, If you don't have a mindset practice in place where you're examining some of these limiting beliefs, figuring out where your self-worth and issues are, or where your self-doubt comes from, and then actually journaling to refute those statements, you will sabotage yourself, because without an awareness of where it comes from or how your brain is operating, it's inevitable that you're going to shrink back down to the place of comfort. And that's true for anybody. Bethany, I'm happening to the world isn't happening to me. Yeah. So those who said conditioning, upper limit, self-doubt, you're right. All of that is correct, but it's based in a paradigm, and everybody has one. And I would argue you have a different paradigm for each area of your life, whether it's love or money or career or whatever, but that's a whole nother story. The point here is, it didn't happen in spite of you. It happened because of you. That's the first thing that you have to understand and truly absorb and identify as fact. If you're unable to identify that as fact, then you're probably not going to get any further. But it did happen because of you. The second thing I would say is, if it happened because of you, which I think it did, then it's a process that's repeatable. However, you have a paradigm that you need to work out of. So, yeah, see, you got a kick-ass relationship you know you created, and now you're working on a kick-ass business that you know you created. One step at a time. Boom, 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 boom. You move your way up. Homework, start journaling. Start looking at the thoughts that you're having. The mistake that a lot of women make when they get to this place is they ignore the thought, or they repress it, or they pretend it's not happening, or that they don't feel the way that they feel. And the subconscious continues to do its work to keep you paralyzed, meaning you don't take the action that you know you need to take to continue to bring in that income, and you truly, literally sabotage yourself. So don't do that. Evaluate the thoughts that you are having that are creating your feelings. If something feels off, ask yourself, what was I just thinking about? You have to build an awareness before you can change it, okay? And feel free to hit me up further on that, because this is like fun for me. Hey Seema, hey, Molly's here too. Okay, so the follow-up question to that was advice on how to move past it and grow the following month rather than be stunted by paranoia. Well, you hit the nail on the head with the first half of it, which is ditch the paranoia. How do you ditch the paranoia? Well, quit stuffing down how you feel and ignoring it, and actually evaluate it and see if it's fucking true. It might be a load of crap that your subconscious is feeding you to keep you small, right? Because the way that your income grew that quickly brought you to a place that was very uncomfortable for you. And so the natural response will be to shrink you back down to the smaller level. Hey Kira, how are you? So examine the thoughts, don't ignore them. Theodore's here, hello. Monique had a question about upper limits. She's been dealing with headaches, neck and back pain, and the onset of depression. Before she even got to the phrase depression, I knew she was dealing with an internal game issue. Headaches, neck and back pain, to me personally, and I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV, are symptoms of emotional suppression. Ignoring how you feel, not dealing with feelings. And I actually happen to have a one-on-one call with Monique after I do this, so I'm going to talk to her about that directly. Hey Mariah, how are you? You know you deserve it, and you were shocked that you reacted like this. Yeah, you know, I'm not. It happens to the best of us. It happened to me. And I suspect that it happens to everybody as they move on through and go up to the next level and the next and the next. I know that as I've continued to up-level, my up-level symptoms have continued to increase. It's fascinating the way it works. Okay, Kelly says, fear of success is Kelly's fear. She's lived 31 years being the nice girl and finds that as her business grows, she's changing and starting to tell people no with confidence, which is a good thing, right? But the fear that's come up for her is, who will I become, and will I like myself in the future? I know I will, but the fear is still there. So this is a really interesting question, and can be applied to almost any situation. When you are learning to become somebody new, it's like when you're the new entrepreneur and you try on different personalities, right? Kelly's position is she's way over here as the nice girl, and she's afraid she's going to be way over here and turn into uber bitch. That's the fear. But there's always a middle ground, right, Kelly? So I have found through the last 10 years of working with women online that in general, when people are afraid of becoming something, which in your case is uber bitch, they're very aware of it. And so the possibility of becoming that is usually really remote. It's kind of not something that would take place because you're so hyper aware of it, right? You don't want to be that. So it would be extraordinarily unusual for you to go there and not notice it. That's the first thing. The second thing is, just because you're not being super Mrs. Nice anymore doesn't mean you swing the pendulum all the way over to uber bitch, right? Learning to say no is the middle ground, and you can be very polite and nice and respectful and assert a boundary. You don't have to be nasty. You don't have to make people uncomfortable. You don't have to become that person that you're afraid to become. And so I think the shortest answer possible is continue on the path that you're continuing on, learning how to say no effectively. And given that you are hyper aware you don't want to be a bitch to people, then you're probably not going to be. Yeah, people respect you more lately. Yeah, people don't generally respect nice guys. What's that phrase? Nice guys finish last. Nice girls too. So there's my 2 cents. Danielle had a similar question around fear of success, but hers is that she's going to be too much, which is similar to Kelly's question about turning into a nasty person or not liking who she becomes. But for Danielle, she's always felt as though she's been too much. And this is really good because, side note, my whole life I was told I was too much, right? And I believed that for many, many years. It wasn't until I turned 40 that I figured out it was a myth. So Danielle's way ahead of the curve because she's much younger than me. I would say if you have been told most of your life that you're intense or high energy or that you need to tone it down or be tame, then you are perfectly positioned to be a leader in the online world, because we are the ones that are more prone to take risks that others won't. We will say the things that most people will only think but don't have the courage to say out loud. And because of that, we're elevated pretty quickly. I've identified with your videos from day one, your live streams from day one. It's been a pleasure to watch you grow. She goes on to say that it works well for male Marines, but they aren't her target audience. I think that's hysterical, because I think that people who aren't serious, who just want to say that they're working on something, won't pay the premium price and won't work with a serious coach. But the ones who are serious are going to identify what you're about, know you're not there to play games, and going to be all in, right? I mean, you're not going to please everybody. There are plenty of people that can't stand me simply because I say fuck. And I'm okay with that, because it's not manufactured. It's actually who I am. And I think that your personality is very similar. You're very much about, you get what you get. There's nothing held back for you. Without that filter, it's easy for people to identify hell yes or hell no. They're in or they're out. And the ones who are in will be in for life. So no, I don't think you need to tone it down. I definitely don't think you need to be second guessing your message. If anything, I would turn up the volume on that. Okay, Julie had a question, which I thought was really fascinating. This was about how to deal with after vacation blues. And I thought I actually had to ask a clarifying question, which was, are you talking about after vacation blues from business or after vacation blues from your 9 to 5? And she's actually talking about her business. So I don't have an answer for how do you deal with after vacation blues when you're coming back to your own business. I do have a question though. And that question is, do you really love what you do? Do you love it so much that you would do it for free? Are you inspired and motivated by the people that you work with every day? And the reason I ask that is I can't wait to get to work in the morning. I can't wait to come back from vacation. I'm all fired up to get back on the train and help more people and get my message out there. But if you're not feeling that way, then something's out of alignment for you, as much as I dislike the word alignment. And I would begin to question what it is that you're doing with your time and why you built the business you built and who you work with. Something is not working there. Jillian's here. Hello. Valerie's here. Getting so much stick from my hubby and daughters about saying more yes to myself. Yeah, you know what? They'll get over it. They will get over it. Okay, Yvonne says, fear for her as well. I posted my VIP day on my local Facebook page. I haven't put the price on as friends will see it, and I'm charging my worth at £14.99. Fear of judgment here, but wondering if I should be putting the price on regardless. Okay, so there's a few things that are going on here. If you have people that you know have liked your page that you don't feel fully support you or your message, then you need to remove them from your page. Anytime somebody's presence makes you not be who you are, and it's your own little piece of real estate on the internet, you need to assert a boundary and get rid of them. Sorry, it's business. The second thing that I would say is, yeah, you have to put the price on there if you want people who are serious about investing, because if they don't know how much it is, and then they get on the phone and, oh, it's $14.99, I don't want to spend that much, you've just wasted all that time. Thirdly, a VIP day for $14.99, dude, a VIP day with me is $10K. If somebody's judging you for having a VIP day at $14.99, they need not only a reality check, but a kick in the ass. Just get them off your page and move on. There you go. I'm really, this is a tough one, guys, because family and friends are well-intended and well-meaning, and they often bring advice to entrepreneurs based out of love, but they're afraid for you. And that fear comes off as them not supporting you, right? And that's not always the case. So in general, it's just not a hard and fast rule, but my general rule is don't talk business with family and keep them out of your internet space, because this isn't social for you, this is work, right? It's social for them, and they may make off-the-cuff statements or say things that they would say on a personal timeline that just don't belong on a business page, okay? That's where I'm at. All right, moving right along. Let's see. Christine said, would love to talk about expectations in clients, coaches, ourselves, our families, and how they do or don't serve us. And my immediate off-the-cuff response for her was expectations are useless. I actually had a conversation about this on my own timeline the other day. If you removed expectations, you would just be such a happier human being. I'm not saying that this is easy by any stretch of the imagination, but think about it. We do X and we expect Y. If we didn't expect Y, we wouldn't be so attached to an outcome. We'd just feel so much better moving through the world each day. Unfortunately, we're not conditioned for that. So she then went on to ask about more productive tools to replace expectations with, like visualizing or proper pre-oration. I don't know what that means. I am a big fan of visualization. I'm also a huge fan of gratitude and acting as if, which I will get to in a minute. So those are helpful. It's the same as any other mindset work that you might do. You can say an affirmation 50 fucking times, but the mere fact that you've repeated it doesn't make your brain believe it. You've got to address the conflicting belief that's underneath it. You know, I might say an affirmation like, I make $100 million a year, and my brain says, no, you fucking don't. Well, I've got to address that, don't I? Because no, I don't. But am I worthy of it? And am I taking steps toward it? And what is the plan to get there? You see what I'm saying? You can't just stuff this shit down and hope it goes away. It doesn't work that way. Monica asked for my best mindset practices daily and weekly. I am not one, we're talking myself personally now. I am not one for having a big long 2-hour thing. I don't, oh my God, don't tell anybody now that 15,000 people are going to know. I don't meditate. And I feel like I should probably learn how to do that, and it might make me a happier human being, but I haven't made myself do it yet. Call it resistance, call it whatever you want. People who meditate tell me it's life-changing, mind-bending, and brings you to a place that you wished you were at your whole life, so I should probably take it a little more seriously, but that would be one to examine. My two go-tos for my own personal mindset work are gratitude, and I don't mean a little bit of gratitude. I mean the kind of exhaustive fucking gratitude that you give your entire heart, soul, and gut to. when I started my first gratitude practice, I made myself write 100 things I was grateful for every night with no repeats. When I do something, I really do it. So that one for sure. And then the next one is surrounding the limiting beliefs, which I talk about a lot. You say your affirmations, you say your mantras, and you never look at how you actually feel about something, or examine your fears, or hold them up to the light and see if there's any truth or validity to them. You stuff that shit down, you ignore it, it festers like a fucking infection, and then it's going to take over. Versus having a conversation with your coach or mentor, or writing down how you actually feel. 9 times out of 10, my clients come back and tell me, halfway through writing the sentence I was about my limiting belief, I called bullshit on myself. But isn't that the goal? Right? I mean, that's the whole point. You've got to get it out of you. Keeping it in your head, it just spins around and around and it gets bigger and bigger. Don't do that. Admit the foolishness. It's the only way to call it foolish and let it go. I got to catch up on comments here. Michelle says, on point about family and friends. Valerie, so true. Autumn, keep them out of your internet space. Yeah, exactly. Christine, preparation. So true about affirmations. CBT therapy. I don't know what that is, Alma, but sounds good. You're welcome, Christine. Adriana, gratitude puts you in a meditation state. Oh, I did not know that. That's good to know. Thank you. Okay. This leads nicely to Vanessa, which was the last question that I'm going to address, and it's kind of a big deal. And so the thin line between not stressing and acting as if and hustling for what you want. This is pretty simple once you understand it. Give me a minute to explain it. We're going to pull a goal out of the sky. I want to make, let's call it $100,000 this month. Or maybe in the month of May, since there's only a few days left for this month. I want to make $100,000 in the month of May. That would make me a 6-figure earner. What would I be doing every day if I already made 6 figures? Make a list. What would I be doing? What characteristics would I have? How would I move through life? How would I move through the day? How would I feel? I'd feel empowered. I'd feel not desperate. I'd feel like I was doing things right. I'd feel like I knew what I was doing. I'd feel like what? What are all those feelings? Make a list. You got 2 lists. All the things that you would be doing if you continue to make 6 figures, plus all the characteristics you would have because you're feeling good. Anything that isn't on those 2 lists doesn't exist in your world. It's as simple as that. What's the difference between acting as if and being desperate? Well, look at your lists. Are you embodying the characteristics that you laid out? Are you doing what you wrote on those lists? Or are you freaking out, hustling like a mad woman, checking Facebook every 10 minutes, and praying to the gods for more money? I mean, desperate money calls in desperate money, so that's not going to work. Hey, Hattie, how are you? So that one's really easy. Like really, really, really easy. Maybe not easy to pull off, but simple to understand. One of the things that happens a lot of times is we create a big audacious goal and we're committed to it and our energy's high and our passion is great at the beginning. And then as time goes on, those things tend to wear off and we don't know what to do about it. And the worry gets bigger and bigger. You're welcome, Vanessa. So you're obviously going to examine the worry. You're not going to stuff it down, because if you were a 6-figure owner or business owner or whatever it was, you would know how to handle that shit, right? You'd have a mindset practice in place that taught you how to examine limiting beliefs so that you can acknowledge them and release them. So you'd go there. You deal with your shit so that you can let it go, and you continue on. One of the things that I see all the time, and it's so frustrating, they come in, they're all excited, they've got this great idea, they're going to put it out, and they hustle for like a week. And then they buy into the, nobody's buying, I should give up. Look, when you make a decision to do something, especially if you're going to be a 7-figure business owner, you make a decision and you get it done. I'm not going to make a decision that I'm going to make $100,000 next month and only work for a day or 2 and then throw my hands up in the air despondent. I'm going to keep going until I get to the finish line, no matter what it takes, until it takes. And that's the attitude that needs to be adopted. the fine line between acting as if versus hustling your ass off? Well, worried and stress, that doesn't belong, because that wouldn't be acting as if. Doing what it takes, absolutely, that belongs in every instance. That belongs as a characteristic and as a daily activity. You don't have time for being despondent and feeling sorry for yourself. You don't have time to compare actions with other people. You've made a decision and you need to follow it through. And I will say that the lack of the amount of follow through that exists in the entrepreneurial space, particularly with women right now, is utterly terrifying to me. Terrifying. The amount of people who simply do not say or do not do what they say they're going to do, it's scary. And if you don't take anything else away from this live stream than that, then please make it that. Just fucking do what you say you're going to do. If not something that you said to other people, but something that you promised to yourself. Because to me, that's even more sacred and more important. You're not honoring you when you give up. You're all in or you're out. You know, there's no maybe, there's no sitting on the fence, there's no I'll see how it goes and see how committed I am. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. And I don't understand it. When I decided that I was all in, I did exactly what needed to be done until I arrived. That was not an overnight process. It was a 6-year process that bore fruit for me inside a 14-day span 4 years ago, and nothing's been the same since then. But it was my simple choice to fucking follow through that brought all of those results. There is no giving up. There is no I changed my mind. When you remove plan B as an option, you throw everything you have at plan A. And I guess I can get off my little soapbox about that. Follow through is what it is. If you don't have it, you're not going to make it, and that's the end of that. Okay, I should probably bop over to the business page and see if there's comments, because I can't see anything on my phone. I'm looking. Hang on. Multiple device live stream. Good times, huh? Okay, good. Good. All right. So, fear is self-created. You're in charge of your environment. You're in charge of how you feel. And those feelings are then impacting the actions that you choose to take or not take. Follow through? Do it. If you're not going to follow through, then don't even bother setting the goal or saying that you're going to do it. It's all in or out. It's one or the other. And that doesn't mean that you don't stumble along the way or question yourself or have days when you're down. But it means that you've committed to yourself to do something, and you're going to see it through no matter what, right? If anything, that kind of tenacity is the kind that makes other people turn their heads and go, geez, I don't know if I could do that. Well, that's what it takes. Okay, this is Mindset Monday. Boy, we blew through those questions in 35 minutes. I'm impressed. Anything else comes up, hit me in the comments. I come back, I read them all. I'll be happy to answer any of the questions you might have. And if you don't know who I am, I'm the Bullshit Slayer. RebeccaTDickson.com. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you all for being here, and I'll see you soon.